Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be concentrating on the myths and facts of piercings plus any additional questions that I get randomly asked in the street. This doesn't come in any kind of order, so I'm just going to do it randomly. Here we go. One of the things that a lot of people say to me is, I bet that feels weird. Now, sure, when you first get it done, it feels a bit strange, especially with a swelling. It makes it really hard to talk if you've had anything done with your lips or your tongue or anything like that. Obviously, after a while, you get used to it, and I remember when I had to take my tongue bar out because it was destroying my gums. Unfortunately, I had a 6mm bar with a massive metal ball on the end, which was ridiculous. Of course, it eroded my gums, so I had to take it out, but after I took it out, it felt so strange. But since I've not had anything in for a couple of years now, it doesn't feel weird at all, and I've put jewellery in it since, and that does feel a bit strange, so obviously you have to get used to it again. So of course initially it does feel a bit strange, but after a while you just get used to it. Do you get caught when kissing? Emily and I have got interlocked a couple of times, but that was when I had the horseshoe style piercing jewellery on the front there, which can easily loop around any jewellery that she's got on, which can be a bit painful when you're pulling away and it yanks off. Fortunately, Emily had the genius idea of changing the jewellery so that it couldn't lock, and this is much easier. This is a segment ring, so as you can tell there's no ball on it. How do you drink, especially from a can or anything like that? Now, I love my energy drinks, so that's often what I'm drinking, and when I have a drink in the car, I don't, it's stupid trying to drink while doing this. So I often drink with a straw anyway, just to save my gums and my teeth from getting corroded by too much fizzy drink. If I don't have a straw with me, I don't have any problems drinking from a can. The bar's just pushed to the side when I raise the can up, and there's no big issue, no spillage or anything like that. Unless someone makes me laugh and it all comes out my nose and everything, but that very rarely happens. The next one is when people think you go to the airport and you get caught by the metal detectors. Because the metal in these is too high a quality, it doesn't get picked up by metal detectors, which is a good thing really, but I mean, steel toe cap boots get picked up by it, and belts, why not jewellery? Well, a lot of people don't know, and I don't mind confirming to someone that it doesn't actually get picked up by metal detectors. And some people also think that magnets will affect it, but well, as any pierced person will tell you, magnets have no effect. The problem being with magnets and metal detectors, it would be kind of handy if they did work, because any time you lose your jewellery, it can be a pain. If you do lose one of your balls, enter pun here, then it can be really annoying, especially if it drops onto the carpet or somewhere dark and you can't ever find it again. Just a little side note here, if it does happen to you, the best thing to do is put a pair of tights over a vacuum cleaner, and that you should be able to find it more or less that way. Shaving can be really annoying, especially with my cheek piercings. Yeah, and all the jewellery here, obviously it does get in the way. I shave as close as I can. What I'll do, if I find long straggly hairs around these piercings, I will use a pair of tweezers and pull them out, which can be a bit annoying because there's not very many good pairs of tweezers in our house. We have loads of pairs of tweezers, but I'm sure Emily keeps the good ones for herself. Shaving around here and around here is incredibly annoying, and every so often I'll get a pair of hair scissors and just give it a little trim. At no point do I ever take all the piercings out and do it that way, because that would take so long to put them back in. As I said, these segment rings just take so long to get in. Now, a lot of people ask, does it hurt? People don't ask, did it hurt? They ask, does it hurt? Well, I think anybody will know the answer to that. Of course it doesn't, you idiots. Did it hurt? Yes, of course it does. You stick a bit of needle through your skin and it takes out a section of your skin. It's not exactly the most painless task. However, I always get people to expect the worst. That way your adrenaline levels are up high and you can get through it a lot easier. That's a little bit different for tattoos, obviously, because it's a much longer time frame that you're getting done, but usually the adrenaline gets you through to a certain point that way as well. I have had a couple of people ask me if my cheek piercings go all the way through. No, they don't. Often I open my mouth just to make sure that they can see that it doesn't. I wish I could get piercings going through all the way that way. Facelift of Frankenstein's monster. Now, this is one that I wanted to throw in now. I don't get asked it at all, but I do notice it a lot. In the winter, the jewellery does get extremely cold. I remember when I had shorter hair and lots of ear piercings, and I'd have to work out in the snow and all through December. It does get extremely cold, especially when that wind is blasting through it as well, and it's just, it's horrible. However, I do remember once going into a sauna with piercings, and that's never a good idea. the exact opposite end of the spectrum, and do not even attempt to try that. Now, to go with the cold of the jewellery, getting a cold with this kind of jewellery is a complete nightmare. I remember both the times that I got my septum done, I had a cold and a runny nose, and that is just a bit of a nightmare when you can't blow your nose. You just end up putting cotton wool or toilet paper up your nose as if you're having a nosebleed or something. My best friend in that situation are cotton buds. Now, there is the myth and the fact that this kind of jewellery around your mouth can ruin your gums and your teeth. As I stated earlier, when I had a massive tongue bar in, I had a massive ball on the end, and that did start to corrode my gums, and my teeth were getting very loose at the bottom, which started to terrify me, so I immediately took it out. If you're wearing too big a jewellery, or it's missized, then it will start to rub against your gums and your teeth. Just make sure your jewellery is the correct size, not too small obviously, because otherwise you're going to get a dent where the jewellery ends, like in your tongue, or on these bits if you've got labret bars instead of rings. It will indent the skin and it will swell. Well, it will try to swell, but it'll have nowhere to go. Obviously, don't wear the bars too big, because then they will rub against your teeth and your gums, and it's just not worth it. Sometimes it doesn't matter what jewellery you wear, and it can corrode your teeth and gums. Just be aware and keep your eye out for it. Now, a lot of the comments that I get from my videos are, do you have a job? How can this idiot have a job? There's been some pretty nasty remarks, actually. I'm not going to cry over it anymore. Of course I have a job. How else would I be able to pay for all of this? I love my job. It's fantastic. I can look how I want. I understand that most jobs do come with the stipulation that you have to be smart, or at least not as, well, like this. But I've been extremely lucky in my job. Well, my bosses just don't care. It's fantastic. A big thing that I thought a lot through before we had our little one was babies and piercings. Now, it's not in the way you think of. I would never get my baby's ears pierced. That's ridiculous. If you want to, that's your opinion, but in my opinion, no, I wouldn't put my kid through that. It's their choice if they want to get their ears pierced, and obviously when they're a baby, they're a bit too young to say hell no. What I'm talking about here is babies grabbing piercings and pulling them. I don't think she's ever pulled my piercings. That disproves that one, doesn't it? She did used to like to pull on my hair, but again, not very much at all. I think she's probably going to pull out my hair or cut my hair off when I'm asleep at night. Until that happens, I'm in the safe zone. Prepare for my next video where I come back completely bald. So I just wanted to clear up a few myths and whatnots about piercings, and I think I've covered about everything I can think of. If you've got any questions for me about piercings, or well, anything about my lifestyle, comment below and I'll chuck them in another video later on. Thanks for watching, and I hope this has been somewhat of an educational tool for you. If it hasn't, then I hope you found it slightly more entertaining than, I don't know, jumping into a big puddle full of sharks. Cool. See you guys. Bye.